how do you connect student as expert to academic learning? Because as you know, at Inspired Teaching, we believe the two are so tightly intertwined. To if you're really being thoughtful as a teacher, you're supporting students' well-being, social emotional learning, and their academic learning simultaneously. So how does putting the student in the role of expert help them to learn their math facts, learn to spell, learn the items that are on your curriculum?
Um, I think it gives them more room to feel like that they can. It gives them more room to feel like they can make mistakes and that it's okay. For example, I teach number corner in our classroom. So currently we are working on telling time with analog clocks. So we have, a calendar grid that's got analog clocks and digital clocks. And the kids, they are on top of it with digital clocks, but analog clocks, we all know, are a little bit trickier. And so, I'll start with something that we've been going over. We've been talking about, when the long hand's on 12, that means it's, o'clock, it might be 6 o'clock. And we focused on o'clock and half past. So we focused on those two things. And once it seemed like, they got it all and they were really into it. So, I said, let's push it a little bit further. And so I turned the clock, the minute hand to the 15 for a quarter past. And then I showed it to them. And of course, I'm hearing all sorts of answers. Some of them were correct. One of them was completely right. And it was from a student that normally we would not hear from. But I was looking around, I gave them all a chance to think about it in their heads first. And I could see his face as soon as he got it, and he knew he had it, and his hand shot up. And so I made sure to call on him, and sure enough, he had it right. And then it's funny though, because some of the other kids, they were like, I don't understand, why is it not 5:35? And so I said, well, can you tell me why you think it's 5:35? And so, they explain their way of thinking. And then I had the student who had it right. I had him explain. And then by the end of it, we were all on the same page, but everybody was so excited, even though, probably about 3/4 of them got it wrong at first, but I could see it like click. You can see the moment where it clicks in their faces. And, a parent came in when they had their music performance and was like, oh my gosh, like she came home and she was so excited to tell us that she knows how to tell time now. So it's great to see how when you give them the confidence, even when they, maybe have the wrong answer, but you have them explain it to the rest of the class, and you don't knock it, but you praise the process. They get so excited about what they're learning and they want to keep it going. Another technique that we use is the turn and talk. So even for 6 and 7-year-olds, for example, with number corner, I might put a certain time on the clock and say, I want everyone to look at this, take a moment, think about it inside your head, and then turn to your neighbor and tell them what time you think it is and explain why. So we do use the turn and talk a lot with math, with reading. We have when we were reading stories, one of the teaching points we had was what was it? It was an uh-oh moment. So in every story, we say there's an uh-oh moment. And so, we might read a story and stop and have them discuss with each other what they think the uh-oh moment is, and then start reading again. And then there's a phew moment. And so we might have them stop and talk to each other about what the phew moment is. And it's just really cool to see, because even if you're not teaching that specific lesson, we might be reading another story. We're not even talking about that at all. Out of nowhere, you hear, that's the uh-oh. So it means, they've taken something from, when we had a very structured teaching point and lesson about it, and they're, making connections during lunchtime reading or at a different time.
So it sounds like you're giving them the scaffolding, the vocabulary, the terms, the expectations, and then in a way that's compelling and meaningful to them.
Mhm.
And then their ideas are necessary in order to make it work, which is really important, right? There's that's, to me, that's part of student as expert, that their ideas are not only welcome, they're actually needed.